In this episode, we use indefinite pronoun most as the clue word to answer TOEFL sentence insertion questions. For this, let's first have a brief introduction to indefinite pronouns.
Such is a versatile word. As a determiner, it has two main functions. One is to add emphasis. Such can be used with countable nouns and uncountable nouns. When used with a single countable noun, such comes before the indefinite article a or an. She has such lovely hair. They are such happy people. He is such a kind person. The other function of such is to mean of this or that kind. This use of such is employed mainly in a formal setting, like academic or business situations. While protesting in the street, people may not resort to violence. Such a protest will not be condoned. In December 1901, Marconi successfully transmitted the letter S from England to Newfoundland, defeating Tesla in the race to be the first to complete such a transmission. Like many other determiners, such can be used as an indefinite pronoun. When used in this way, such means something or things of the type previously mentioned or exemplified. Such was the result. It is a serious problem and should be treated as such. If such is the decision, nothing further should be done. Example: Tesla was critical of theories about the conversion of matter into energy and Einstein's theory of relativity. In his letter, he stated as follows: A. I hold that space cannot be curved for the simple reason that it can have no properties. B. Of properties we can only speak when dealing with matter filling the space. C. To say that in the presence of large bodies space becomes curved is equivalent to stating that something can act upon nothing. D. Target sentence: I, for one, refuse to subscribe to such a view. Analysis: Such a view indicates that the view is already mentioned. Based on the context in his letter, we know that I refers to Tesla, so the target sentence talks about a view that Tesla rejects. The dot sentence is a general statement. A talks about a view that Tesla believes, but we are looking for a view that Tesla rejects. B follows directly from A as B further explains the view presented in A. C talks about a view which Tesla thinks absurd, so C is the sentence we are looking for. Answer: D. A. Previously, units of grain had been represented by direct one-to-one correspondence, by repeating the token or symbol for a unit of grain the required number of times. B. The accountants, however, devised numeral signs distinct from commodity signs, so that 18 units of grain could be indicated by preceding a single grain symbol with a symbol denoting 18. C. Their invention of abstract numerals and abstract counting was one of the most revolutionary advances in the history of mathematics. D. Target sentence: Such a system was clearly awkward for large inventories. Such a system indicates that there was a description of a system. The sentence also says the system was inefficient. The target sentence should come after an explanation of an inefficient system. A talks about a system that is cumbersome. So after A is a good candidate. Target sentence. The system was awkward for large inventories. B talks about the invention of a new efficient system. C says the new system was revolutionary. Answer: B. A. In the deeper waters of the oceans, there is a much greater tendency for animals to await the arrival of food particles or prey rather than to search them out actively, thus minimizing energy expenditure. B. This has resulted in a more stealthy style of feeding, with the consequent emphasis on lures and/or the evolution of elongated appendages that increase the active volume of water controlled or monitored by the animal. C. Another consequence of the limited availability of prey is that many animals have developed ways of coping with much larger food particles relative to their own body size than the equivalent shallower species can process. D. Target sentence. Such a passive approach requires those animals to develop specialized methods of acquiring food. Such a passive approach is the clue word. We need to look for an approach that describes passive manners. A talks about animals waiting for the arrival of prey, which is passive. So after A is a good candidate. Target sentence. The manner of waiting for prey led to some specialized methods. B talks about examples of specialized methods like luring with elongated appendages. C talks about specialized methods of acquiring food, so all flows logically. A. Firefighters became much more successful at achieving that goal after 1945 thanks to improved firefighting technology. B. For a few decades, the amount of land burnt annually decreased by 80%. C. That happy situation began to change in the 1980s due to the increasing frequency of large forest fires that were essentially impossible to extinguish unless rain and low winds combined to help. D. Target sentence. Such a reduction seemed to demonstrate that the program of fire suppression was having its desired effect. Such a reduction indicates that the sentence before the target sentence should be about reduction. A says firefighting became more successful with new technology. B says for some time the amount of land burnt decreased by 80%. So B talks about reduction, which we are looking for. So after B is a good candidate for the target sentence. So place it after B and see the logical flow of ideas. Target sentence. The reduction of the burnt land seemed to show that the program seemed to work. C says the optimistic situation changed due to large, practically inextinguishable forest fires. So all works perfectly. Analysis. Such a tweet in the target sentence indicates that a tweet is mentioned earlier. A talks about a tweet by Musk. So after A is a good candidate. Placing the target sentence after A, reread the whole passage for the flow of ideas. A. After settling with the SEC, Musk issued a tweet. Target sentence. The SEC filed in court in response to Musk's tweet, complaining that Musk violated the terms of the settlement agreement. B. The case between the SEC and Musk settled with clarification of the previous settlement agreement. C follows B directly as it talks about details of the clarification.